there, boogerlugs, prick up your ears and eyes. Hey there, boogerlugs, you got a big surprise. It ain't no podcast, what it is you just don't know. We're just saying, you're welcome to the Ford and Shelby Show. The Ford and Shelby Show. That is the Ford and Shelby Show.
Well, hello there, Shelby. It's show 28. A very warm welcome from the Ford and Felchie Show. Shelby, what was it? Who said Felch? Somebody was in
People
here.
I
Mispronounced it. It's not the Ford and Felchie Show.
There'll be no felching in here today.
Oh, what? I don't even know what.
People are just a wee bit tongue-tied. Sometimes it comes out wrong.
Aye. Well, anyway, look, welcome. This is show 28, and we're very happy to see you. I can't believe the rate that we go through these and all the rest of it. The time that's passing. I mean, it's months and months and months now that we've been doing this. I need a holiday.
We'll get you away. Calm down.
And I need ice cream as well.
Oh, ice cream, a wee gelato.
Aye,
What is your ice cream flavour? What do you like?
Oh, no, I like chocolate ice cream.
Boring.
Well, I know. But I also like lime and chocolate, like chocolate lime.
I do like chocolate lime Suki Sweeties.
Aye, but they do that in an ice cream. You could do it in a large, you've got chocolate lime ice cream. Delicious.
Right.
Anyway, where are we? What have you been up to?
Well, just as always, a wee recap. Last week we had Miss Susie McCabe.
What a gab.
Do you know, I find her very fascinating. I've obviously seen Susie in, stand-up TV, but she's full of knowledge.
And it's not about stand-up. She has genuinely a bit of brain on her, isn't
See,
she?
last week I felt I was learning things. I thought,
Aye. That should be the way, Shelby. That should be the way
my
every
elders,
single week.
do you know what I mean? Leading the way.
Aye, learn stuff. That's me what I've been up to all week.
Well, Ford, I don't know. Tell the people, what have you been up to?
Fuck all. I went for a run in my car. That's the one with the cream seats. I went for a run and I ended up in a place called Heckling.
All at the cakes? No,
that's Eccles Cakes. That's different. That's
right.
down south. That's Newcastle area. No, Ecclefecken's a wee tiny place. I just stopped for a cup of tea. I saw a wee tea room and I went, I'm parched, I'll go in there and get a cup of tea. And here now, did somebody just walk in the shop that I've known for like 50 years. His name's Albert. A funny name at school. He was called Albie. He's a China. Anyway, considering we saw each other right away, and all the time we recognised each other's faces, do you know what I mean? So he came out and he sat down. I said, what are you doing in Ecclefeckan? He went, I don't live here. He says, I'm retiring. He said, but I'm a joiner and everything. Well, he said, I've been watching the show. He says, that's Shelby one. Right. Now he says, ages with me, right? He went, he says, she's a honey. I went, he says, if I was a few years younger, man, I'd be living in Glasgow, as close as I could to her, he says. And I went, right enough. It was starting to get a bit creepy, you know what I mean? He went, where does she live? And where do fuck's sake? But anyway, it's fine. And he's offered these services for if you want hinged or screwed or anything like that. He's a good joiner.
I hope he's not looking for a shout out, is he?
No, he's not. Well, we used to say, get Albert now. I'll be there later on, Albie. That was what I remembered him about. But no, he was...
Albie Hamesoon, Shelby Hamesoon.
Aye.
There's a wee...
No, but honestly, I couldn't get him back on the station at all when he talked about his own wife, his family, nothing. He's going, honest to God, how did you meet her? What a wonderful looking lassie. And I'm going, right, I'll pass on your regards. So that's all I've done all week. That's all I've done.
Right, well...
I'm just saying, if you want your role, it's an Ecclefeckan.
Noted. Well, ask me what I've been up to and I'll pretend.
What have you been up to, Shelby? Felchie?
Well, I'm surprised you didn't say you done it for St Patrick's Day.
Well, because...
You didn't do it?
No, because I've tried like 3 or 4 different times, more than that, to try and organise myself towards a St Patrick's event and never managed. I went to New York and they were doing up the street outside the chapel and that. And I went, so it's St Patrick's Day tomorrow. And I went, I'm going to name the day later on the day. I went home on the 16th. What an idiot.
Aye. Right, well, No, that's a sin.
I know, and I've tried and I've either missed it or I've just never got there in time.
Well, first of all, I made a nice Guinness stew.
Oh.
And that night we actually went to, what's it called? Gin to McGinty's, Byers Road, Ashton Lane.
That would be the place you would go.
Well, that is where you go because you've got your live music, it's rammed, you're fighting to get in, but we had a great night and then we just done a wee pub crawl. But next day, tad sensitive, but I was sobering up with a nice pot of my gravy stew.
Guinness upon Guinness upon. Did you drink Guinness?
Well, I have tried it. Well, okay, I've tried it, but it was in the Guinness factory in Dublin. And, you know, they put your face on it so you can get a photo taken and then they like, print it onto your pint. And as you drink it, obviously it disappears.
That'd be good for alcoholics, keep them off a drink with it.
Don't drink me, I'll fuck it.
I don't, it looks to me like chocolate and cream. So it's the utter, because it tastes like Coleman's piss. You know what I mean? It's thin.
I was just about to say that. You said it's thin. I don't say it's thin. It's like a thick meal.
No, I don't like it. I did meet a guy in Ireland, I'm not kidding, 18 of them a day he was doing. 18 for like 10 o'clock in the morning to last thing at night. Never ate nothing. And you
Was it stocious?
No, a kind of even keel. You know, he wasn't eating nothing or anything like that. Christ, you wouldn't want to get into the back of him in the toilet. You know what I mean? I must have been letting the sluice gates go in a bad ship.
Well, that's it. You get the whole
exactly, you
tar
do.
like gyobes.
Oh, do you?
Aye.
Tarry?
Like tar, you know, like black streaks. I've seen it in pubs.
No, I wasn't drinking. It made my jobbies into his black streaks.
But is it because it's full of iron?
There is iron in it.
No, it's
well,
not full of iron.
They used to give, after you had a baby in the Royal Infirmary or anywhere, they would give you a black stout, which was like Guinness. Sweetheart stout, they called it. It was full of sugar and malt and all that. And it was to bring all your blood levels up after you had the baby. I'm going to, if you can give me a bit of help with this, would like to actually see St. Patrick's Day.
I'll tell you a story.
It's not particularly Irish, is it? Or Catholic?
Well, no, because, we wore a hint of green. And
right.
of all the years of people going to be celebrating, they tend to wear white, green and orange or gold, right?
The Ireland colours.
And the wee leprechaun things.
Aye. The Americans don't see it as a Catholic thing.
No, but you know how in Chicago, they dye the river green, right? And I was telling somebody this and I was like, you know the river in Chicago? And they're like, what's it called? And I'm like, the river in Chicago. But you know how rivers tend to have names like the River Clyde or River
What's
Thames?
this called?
The River of Chicago.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I know, pretty shite. Anyway, they dye their river green for St. Patrick's Day. But we don't need to worry about that here. The River Clyde is green with algae.
Were you ever in that Loch 27?
I know what it is. I've been once for a pub lunch, aye.
That canal was green, but that was just with people pissing in it. Lollipop sticks and that in hair.
Aye. All trolleys, fingers floating by.
Help me! But
no, what I was about to say to you there is I went to Tenerife one year, again, didn't realise I was going to be there during St. Patrick's Day. And the white felt was the Cheltenham races or something, the Grand National, whatever. I don't really pay attention. And everybody's like, you need to come down to this wee Irish pub, you'll get a plate of stew, it's also St. Patrick's Day, and you can put on a wee bet. And do you know what? It was the best St. Patrick's Day I've ever had.
organised St. Patrick's Day.
So I'm going to say, next year, because obviously it's past now, get away somewhere for it.
Right.
Like go to Tenerife or Gran Canaria and just soak up the hustle and bustle.
Aye, is that another alignment thing with the Cheltenham races, or is it always at the same
I don't know
time?
if it's always the same time. I can't.
That's another thing I've never done. I've never been to a horse race. I was at one in Arizona, which is a completely different ball of fish. You know, you're just
You're sweating out there.
No, it's just that the races are slow and they're handicapped awfully, you know that. There's no competition in it. It's dull as anything. But I've never been to a race either. Quite fancy it.
I've never been to the races. I would love to get dressed up and go to the Kathryn Apartic shop, get my ball gown.
No, but you're not going to be rolling around in the mud like every other arsehole.
No,
it looks like an arsehole festival to me.
Aye, because they start out at the beginning of the day and they're ladies, but they end at the ladettes covered in mud, shouting, "Get your hands off my man!"
Aye. That's the bit I don't...
Punching fuck out the dogs and all that.
I
Riding on the horses, it'd be a right disaster.
I would like to go. I would like to go because I've been in Ireland when there's been a big race day on, and you know everybody's on their top hats and all that. I mean they take it seriously, but 9 o'clock at night you're talking about mayhem. There's people rolling about the streets. You know what I mean? With nice
I
clothes
don't
on.
think I would drink that much there because I know what I'm like. I'd be like, put another 50 on that horse. I've got a feeling. Put another, and then I'd leave pissed, hungover the next day, skint. Because people hire dresses, they get like big names, big brands, they hire them.
Just shit in them.
I would probably end up doing something like that.
A jobby?
No, not a jobby. You know I don't do them often. I would end up
I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's no way it's Shelby May. She has not done a jobby for over 8 days. So, get the circus out my court.
It was January, 8 days. Anyway, no, I would end up owning a load of money and I don't think I'd find it that enjoyable.
No. I'd just like to live like the other, like you imagine the other half lives, you know, going to the races and, you know, going to the cricket and going to the tennis. That's another thing I've never done.
I'd like to go to Wimbledon.
Me too, but the tickets are mental.
Aye, I know that, but you know how you get your wee
Go to
champagne?
Cliff Richards before you can get anywhere near the list.
Cliff?
I'm only
And
joking.
he's some age. I mean, I bet you, what age is he? Is he not in his 80s? Because his best pal's with Gloria Hunniford.
It was in the papers yesterday what age he was. He's on 11. Oh no, I just said he was ill.
He was ill. Right. What's the files again? Not, he bet he's on something.
The Rockford Files.
Aye.
Aye. Do you think he's in the Rockford Files? Like yours. Like your mad moustache.
Your moustache.
Right, where are we going with this chatterino?
Well, I was just saying, races aren't for me.
No.
Do you know what else isn't for me? Mother's Day. So we've just celebrated Mother's Day as well. I don't like, I treat my mum like a queen every day. And I don't like being forced to treat her like a queen on a specific day, because also then my grand's like, well, what am I getting? So then it's 2 bunches of flowers, 2 cards, 2 outings, and you can't take my mum and my granny at the same place, because my granny likes a soup and a sandwich and my mum's looking for a sirloin steak, and you can't get that in a pub and
So
party.
you're bitching because you've got to, you do that anyway with them. You take them out, you get them a curry and all this stuff and blah, 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 and you're saying there shouldn't be a dedicated day because you behave like that.
Aye, do you know, see, last year, we kind of pretended my granny we weren't celebrating Mother's Day, but too much on. I was like, I'm working and I've got this and this. And my granny's like, all right. But me and my mum went out for a sneaky lunch somewhere that had stairs and had seafood, and my granny can't do stairs and can't do prawns. So then I went to my granny later on
They
that
seem
day.
like really two different obstacles. On the one hand, we've got these stairs here that lead up to the next flare of these 3 prawns. Oh no, I can't do the prawns. Especially with the stairs. Prawns on stairs. That's really freaky. Imagine you were at the front door and there were like 6 prawns on your doormat. You're like, how did you come up the stair, man? And goes, we got a lift. You know what I mean? I don't like that. Lifts and stairs either. Good. Hey, prawns.
Well, you and my granny are quite similar ages.
We should get together. I'll give her a Mother's Day she'll never forget.
Oh, no! Granny,
I'll
sorry.
rub the prawns out her stairs.
Do you know why my granny doesn't like prawns?
Don't know.
My granny's birthday's Christmas Day, and I always do a prawn cocktail, a soup, and then whatever anybody else wants. And one Christmas, she was like, I'm like, anybody want a vodka? She went, aye, I'll take one. I thought, that's strange, my granny doesn't drink. So I'd give her a vodka about 12, then I was another one. By the time I was getting out the starters at 3 o'clock, she was quite pissed. So she'd overate the starter, and it was big king prawns, big right juicy ones. You know, none of your fucking Iceland king prawn ring pish. It was big ones that are marks like that, they were looking you in the eye. And my granny's chewing away and fucking you up with the plastic forks, the prongs are hanging out. I'm like, Granny, calm down, you've still got your main to go. And then we just heard this noise through the toilet. And I opened the door, the teeth were in the side of the sink, and she's spewing up all the prawns. And ever since, my granny's like, that bastard. Me.
You try to poison me.
Aye. Didn't he cook the prawns? I went, no, you were pissing over it. So, aye, prawn starters in my house, only I eat them now. So
When my mum was living, when Tuna Fat took off, you have to remember it's before phones and the internet.
Right.
Okay, so everybody said, can you sign this? An autograph? This is completely unheard of now. Nobody asked me for an autograph any longer. So I'm like that. Aye, okay, what is it? A wee bit of paper, write it down, all the best, Ford Kiernan, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going round to the house to see my ma and Denison. And I went, oh, fuck, it's Mother's Day. So I jump into the wee shop at the corner. And it was funny, that wee shop. Anyway, buy one, get one. Good. Up the road. Oh, foraging about to get a pen out the motor.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
You've not took the price off.
No, that would have been all right. Gets up the stair, on the landing, quickly sorted it out, stuck it back in the envelope, ding dong, and she goes, oh, son, my big golden Chardonnay, you come and all that. You want a cup of tea? I'm like, ah, great. And I went, there you go. She went, oh, terrific. Oh, she went, oh, that's lovely, taking her time looking at the cover, and I didn't give that a minute's fucking thought. Look at the lovely flowers and all that, and that wee cat. And I'm like, ah, and then she opens it up and it says inside, blah, 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 Happy Mother's Day. And I've wrote from Ford Kiernan. I've wrote my surname. And my mum went, I'm glad that's been established, Ford. She says, because I've been wondering what your fucking second name was. You half-wit. You big-headed half-wit. You're writing that many autographs, you can't even... Ford would have done it. I'm like, I showed it to everybody. Kept it for years. Wait, you see my boy got me a couple of years ago. As if I don't know his fucking name. Gave birth to him. He signed his fucking... But I never put his fucking address. Do you know what I mean? So I insulted her but made her laugh at the same time. But I felt like such a twat. You know what I mean?
Aye. I would get my ma a funny card. You know how it's like Mummy and it'll be like Peppa Pig and all that? Because And there's something about birthday card push and all that to my mother, who's a rose and I look up to, like, you're all right, do you know what I mean? Calm down.
Aye.
I always go for like the funny card.
Do you remember the padded ones? Aye.
Aye, that back in the day, if you had a padded card, you'd a wee bit of, no money as in money in it.
If you bought a
but
padded,
they were expensive to buy.
I spoke about this before, but if you buy somebody a mother's card and it's like padded and that's bad because they keep them for fucking years in suitcases. You only have to end up throwing them out when they die.
Aye, I've got that situation.
You know what I mean?
I've inherited all the suitcases for family members, and as people die, I'm like, you know, I'm like,
Aye, like 9
please.
people in a 40 and 7 of them are dead.
Aye, and you're like, I don't like her anyway, cutting people out. Do you know, see in my house, this is no word of a lie, I don't have any photographs. I probably live like a bit of a psycho, right? But I don't have any photographs, and my auntie just gifted me a photo frame with her and all the sisters and all that in it. And I'm like, fucking, where am I going to put this?
In the bin and use this around for something else.
Do you know what I done? It's by my window, right? And it was sitting like that and it was on show. And I kept looking at it and I was like, fucking, it just takes a look right after the living room.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So I've done that now. And
Have
it
you?
sits behind my plant. And then when family are up, I do that. So I look like the good niece and daughter and all that.
Yeah, double wide bugger.
Aye, it just doesn't go. I mean, I've not even got photos of myself. I'm not interested. I heard as well, photos bring bad luck.
How so?
I don't know. My ma
My
does.
wedding photos have brought me nothing but bad luck.
Well, there we go. No, my mum will say to me, so like that, family members die, and it's right, who's taking that, and I'm always like silent. I don't want to take anything. I don't want to inherit pish, right?
No.
I don't want it. And then I went to toss out some photos. My ma's like, you can't do that. I said, how no? She's like, it'll bring you bad luck.
Oh,
As in,
throwing them out's bad luck.
the spirits come back to haunt you. But then, see, as a child, we went through photos, and my ma's like, what happened to that? What happened to that? I'm like that with a bookie pen, scrolling out people's faces. Aye.
Okay then, so see if your mother...
I've just never liked photographs when I'm at an early age.
Your mother or your granny had a stoma bag,
Aye.
right, and then she died.
I pierced holes in it.
No, she died, and then there were a whole drawer full of brand new fresh stomas
Aye.
to put on. Would you keep them or throw them away? Because remember, you've got a stoma on you in this
No,
story.
I might. No, I don't. They'll be thinking I stink of shite and all that.
No, I'm not saying
I
you've
don't
got
have,
it.
by the way, I do not have a stoma. No, that there's anything wrong with stomas, but I don't have a stoma.
Well, just about final, isn't it? Greg and I were both asked to sign a stoma. That's true. The lassie brought a brand new one with the thing, and she went, would you sign that? And I went, what even is that? And she said, it's a stoma, it goes on in my bag.
I'm glad you told me it was one that wasn't attached, because you try to write in a bag full of shite.
I'm
like
chasing Jobby around to finish your name.
Ford
But
Keek.
Ford Kiernan. But not to take the piss out of people with stomas, but it was. She said this will go up my mantelpiece. Maybe that'll suck
Right
on the
up
other side off the mantelpiece. So there you have it. Now.
So as you know, we like to go out and about, and this week we have done something very different, and you enjoyed it, didn't you?
I did.
Well, you're acting as if I've paid you to say that.
Oh, sorry. Go again then.
No, it's fine.
No, do it.
No, enough. Take a look at this. Another day, another activity.
Yes. What is that activity?
Well, we're going to a pottery class.
Right.
Yay!
Yay! Pottery!
Pottery. And
Will they give you something to put
I
on?
hope they do give an apron, because I'm basically wearing jammies.
Aye. Well, this shop was £18, so I'm not wanting that or slob up.
Is that a Shein special?
Aye. But it's like, is it like a pot or...
I actually don't know what to expect,
I don't think I'm good for anything better than a fucking ashtray or something.
but it's a 2-hour lesson.
Right.
So I think we go in and we'll actually make a bowl or a vase.
A vase?
Well, what do you think seems easier, a vase or a bowl?
I'm telling you, it's an ashtray. Because...
Or you will make an ashtray?
Aye. Well, no, but I mean, we've got no skills.
Yeah, but listen, this might be the thing you're really good at.
Oh, like all that and all that, and I'd be great when I make a few quid, sell them.
Aye.
I don't want to go. No,
It's an indoor activity today because the weather is
It's
shocking,
shite.
and we know that the weather's terrible. It's been like this for ages. So stay tuned.
Where is it?
It's in Finniston. It's called Spin Pottery.
All right.
So I stay tuned, and next time you see us, we'll be at the location.
Potty.
Somehow I don't think it's down here. I think we've went in the wrong way. Just thinking my good boots are getting all muddy.
I can't go up this lane, there'll be a sign.
Was that people? I don't know. Was the sheets moving?
It's bogging. Have you made this come up?
Thing is, I'm no good with Google Maps and everything, you know.
No. I've got a map in the car, but it's an old one.
But I'm walking down here like a police. That's a dead end, so we're going another way now.
Back up to the fucking street that we're in already.
Right, we think it's in the hidden lane.
This is immediately near like a lane. That other thing's the kind of thing you would drag up somebody up there and take all the money or something. This is much better.
Look, it was there the whole time. There we... Oh God, there's lots of people coming. I thought it was a private class for me and Ford. Spin pottery. Look at this. Oh, how cute.
So you try it yourself and then I'll talk you through your first one.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then you can just kind of have fun, see where it goes from there. Being emptied.
Oh, that's cool.
It's good, isn't it?
So start with the wheel off and we're just going to throw it down quite hard into the middle so that it sticks to the wheel. But obviously as you tried, you've got the foot pedal down there. You've kind of given it a go so you know how it works. It goes itself as well, so you can turn the speed on and then just put your foot back on the floor and ignore it.
Right, okay.
We only really change the speed once or twice, so don't. And then pull it into the middle. So all the wee rings kind of help you see what the middle is, and you can just pat it down to make sure it's like even on each side. And then you want to get your hands wet the clay, so it should feel like smooth. It shouldn't feel like it's sticking to your hands, that kind of thing. Full speed, and then you're just going to bring your chair quite close to the wheel. Knees are quite wide and your elbows are resting on your legs at all times. So if your hands are floating up here, the clay will just move you about side to side. You want to dig your elbows in so that you've got a bit of control. So right hand's going round first, it's kind of squeezing the clay into the middle, and then your left hand's wrapping around the top. So your fingers are over the top and it's also squeezing the clay. So your arms are quite tense. You might find you might be dead wobbly at the start, but as you kind of tense your arms and like push the clay into the centre, kind of evenly on both sides, your arms will start to become more steady. And as you squeeze the sides, that bit of clay will get a bit pointier.
I'm going to be honest with you, that's not very good.
Should I just leave it there? What do you think?
This is the flat.
The karate chop.
Or the karate chop, that's right.
Go for it.
What, you've made something already?
I know, like for a wardrobe.
A wardrobe now?
Just stop there, you've nailed it.
I'm an impatient bastard.
I've naturally made a hole in the middle by accident.
You can flatten that back down just to the side of the karate chop again, but just remember in slow motion.
Should I karate chop fast?
No.
Like with a slow spin?
You're meant to be full speed right now.
Oh. Right.
Just keep it full speed until I tell you. Well, what have you done?
I feel that means it's just getting smaller and I'm losing my way. Like I honestly, I mean, it was good at one point and I've ruined it.
Oh fuck. Hey, Shelby.
Exactly what you wanted to make.
Ruined.
When can I put? There's a bowl and a cup, and we just need a fork and a spoon.
A wee set. Right, I'm gonna try and get them both in.
You've just came out of a pottery class and it was
man.
actually very good.
Aye, do you know, it's better than a tranquiliser. They're just sitting there and I was miles away.
He never even spoke, I think, about 3 words. And
Don't show this to anybody because that's how to stop me talking. Make a pot.
we have to pick up at pots and cups in, 3 weeks?
It takes a couple of weeks and things for them to dry out properly and then popped in the kiln.
And she's going to glaze them. They come out, once they're dried, they're like a kind of baby pink colour.
Aye.
But she's going to glaze them with a clear glaze and then we can pick them up. And of course, we'll let you see.
Do you know, I never thought, I know we can't bar on.
I know, but this is quite serious.
Well, Jesus Christ, I mean...
Come on.
Daniel Craig.
I know.
You ask, and then suddenly, poof, it starts to happen. You could be aiming for the scars. Wait, the scars?
The stars.
I can't believe it. So it's just a matter of saying who you want. And I don't know who I'll go for next. But anyway...
Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Craig.
There's been a
Well,
there's been a terrible mix-up.
There's
There's been a.
But it's just as exciting.
I think
Yes.
together we might make half a James Bond.
Yes, and in the words of Ford Kiernan, reach out for the scar.
Reach for the scar. That's a wee Berlin tune. Reach for the scars.
I have to say, there's an album I'd buy.
Of course, the guests of the studio are Daniel Sloss. And is that the right pronunciation?
Yes, yeah, better than everyone in my fucking
Of course, to
high school
Danielle.
And Craig.
easy mistake. We kept
Easy
saying
mistake
Daniel
to make.
Craig.
Aye.
I was quite chuffed.
So, our wee podcast that we've been doing for months and months now
Yes.
has predominantly just been us gassing away, and we decided to try and get some guests and see who would come in and play with us. But of course, you can't have everybody in. You've got to have people who already know what they're doing. I don't mean because we're asking you to perform. It's just they've got some idea that can give us an idea of what it's like to be performing these days. Because I've not done stand-up for years and years and years.
But that's answered my first question. I always wondered if you had done stand-up. I didn't know if you did stand-up or not. So you did before the stuff
my
on
last gig
TV?
was His Majesty's Theatre 1500. So I was at the 1500s,
Aye.
and I was double acting with a guy called John Paul Leach. Right, so we did the 3 festivals there, and we wrote a play and stuff for the festival, and then did, I don't know.
Because I always thought you started as a comedy actor. I didn't know if you did. So you've answered my first question.
Well,
Was it straight stand-up?
no,
What is that?
Like what?
So you do. Still
That took you quite a long time. Come on, kids.
No, Bruce Morris, who you'll be.
Oh, yeah.
We worked together in an office. We were working in I ran this business in town, and he worked there, and Fiona Bell worked there, and Jenny McCrindle and a number of other people. And Morty had just started doing stand-up. And I don't know if you've seen Morty, he's best, like Dynamite.
Yeah, he's great.
And he said to me, go and fucking try it. He said, go and have a go. He says, you're a kind of fun. He says, so go and try it. I said, I don't even know where I would start. He went, you're racketeering it already. He says, so you've got that. But what I did do just in order to cover my arse was I went on and pretended to be a junkie, which I managed to get 30 minutes out of.
Wow.
Right, every single one of the gags went. And the niche that I caught on to then was that they were surprised that I was able to do the Ned accent and an understandable accent. They were taking me for the real...
Because they thought you were the real deal.
Junkie, aye. I'd been given a fucking open spot. Who does that?
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, junkie.
An actual junkie.
It's really funny. It's a bit similar to you were saying. You said just to get me on stage.
Just to get me on stage.
And that's exactly.
Hiding.
So when I my very first gig, which was 4 minutes long, and I did Shirley Bassey sings the Smiths, and Julie Andrews sings punk songs, but it was just to get me on stage because I didn't really know how to do stand-up. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about, but it was anything that got a laugh, just go over the nerves of being on stage. I'd imagine you started with actual words.
My first 5 minutes was just about how much I was wanking. I was 16 years old. Like, it was the only, you don't have any life experience when you're that age. It was the...
What gave you the balls to do that at 16? Not the wanking. I mean, the actual, 16 seems quite young to start stand-up. I'm impressed.
I mean, obviously, we've cribbed a wee bit about both of you. I mean, he's got bride, forget that. But the fact your mother was making you.
My mum, also from East Kilbride.
Back on again.
Aye. She was. I don't think it was. I'd been a fan of stand-up since I was 5. Like, my mum and dad would let me watch anything on TV.
Good.
And I remember it would be Friday or Saturday night, and I'd hear my mum and dad laughing downstairs, so I'd pretend to be sick. I'd go downstairs and they'd be watching stand-up, whether it was fucking Live at the Apollo or the Live Floor Show or whatever it was that was on telly. And
So you're already into it.
Hugely. They like when they started dating and they were living in London together. There was a comedy club. They used to live in a houseboat on the Thames because they were poor as fuck.
Right.
And there was
No, you need to be the opposite.
yeah, trendy. They ended up. There was a comedy club near them called Screaming Blue Murder, and the regular host there was Eddie Izzard. And when Eddie Izzard couldn't do it, I think it was Stuart Lee that replaced him. But this was like back in the late 80s, so, you know, before any of these people were anyone. And then obviously over the next decade they saw these comedians become super famous in the UK, and they just, I mean, my parents still love stand-up so much.
They do. They're coming to my gig in Leeds this weekend.
Yeah, I must really, truly love it. But who was switching you on comedy-wise then when you were growing up? Now?
I was much more into comedy on TV. It was Victoria Wood that made me laugh, because I don't know if I was exposed that much other than Billy Connolly. I don't really think I'd seen live stand-up when I was younger. I loved comedy on TV. I loved the comic timing. I liked the writing. I liked the delivery. So a bit of Fresh and Saunders, but mainly Julie Walters and Victoria Wood. It was that kind of delivery that you would watch it and go, oh, I'd love to be as funny as that.
And the cross-section.
And then Victoria Wood doing stand-up. I thought Victoria Wood was a brilliant stand-up comedian. Did you ever watch her doing stand-up? She's a great stand-up and a really detailed writer. I mean, she's pretty fastidious. And every single word has been thought about, and then she makes the whole thing.
There's people out making shows of her.
No.
You know, smack me on the bottom of the Women's Weekly. And all that.
So I think it was probably that, but I didn't even think of stand-up. I just thought that was funny.
Yes.
And it made me want to kind of maybe think of comedy songs or something. But yeah, no, I was the same. I didn't necessarily I wasn't like you. I didn't watch stand-up. I wasn't obsessed with it. I didn't think about getting into it. I used to read. We used to go to a wee gay cafe. And a Sunday afternoon with about 12 gays, and we would read the Sunday Post letters page out loud. And people would say things like, steamrollers, when did these vehicles take to our roads? Yes. And people would write and go, oh, I'm glad you asked. And it was like a wee bit boring, but it was funny because we would read them out. And then we would read Francis Gay's Book of the Week, and it was a wee kind of like a wee motto for the day. Okay. So it was a wee comedy thing for a laugh that you don't think is going to turn in. Yep. But my friend was a press officer at the Gilded Balloon, and she kept on saying to me, I think sometimes I've had more fun on that Sunday when we were all getting together and reading that silly papers. And she was like, and she said, so she didn't ask me or tell me. She phoned the Gilded Balloon without telling me and booked a gig without telling me. And then 4 days before, she said, I've booked a gig for you. And I said, what gig? And she said, stand-up. And I said, I'm not a stand-up. She went, I think you are. And that's how I started. I just thought, oh, well, I might as well do it.
Were you just writing for those next 3 days? Were you? I know you as a performer.
I know, so I just sat down and thought, well, what makes my friends laugh? And then I thought, well, they always laugh at Julie Andrews doing stuff and whatever. And it was quite interesting. It was quite useful at the beginning because there wasn't anyone really doing singing and doing parodies of people. So it got you a little bit of attention. And I did it thinking it was a one-off.
In Sinatra, the Singing Madness.
Were you?
Yeah, and Queen. I used to do an entire Bohemian Rhapsody as Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's
the full
I love that
7 minutes.
That's brilliant.
Funny.
For the whole thing.
Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, boom, boom, ooh, ooh, ouch, dead.
See, I like that kind of stuff.
I also love the fact that, like, I mean, how many years ago would you say that was?
Oh, for fuck's sake, it was 100 years ago. It was 1985 or something.
I think as a fucking comedian, which is like, you could ask me about what I did in high school, you could ask me about what I did fucking 2 years ago in my house, but if you ask me what jokes I was telling, like when I first started out, you do remember the ones that got the biggest laugh, especially early on in your career, because that's such a, I mean, that's the high we chase ever since. The first time you get a laugh in public on stage, you're like, I don't know what heroin is like, but if it's anything like this, I'm fucking.
That's right.
You've described it as like that. I know you're saying the thrill that you get, nothing quite beats it.
Well, I remember thinking I didn't know that was going to happen. I just tried it, and then I remember going out and getting really drunk and going to this nightclub, and I was chatting to this guy, and I said, I just did the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life. I think maybe you should do things that are terrifying. I said, I don't know if I've ever felt like that, and I thought it was a one-off. And then somebody asked me to do it again, blah, 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 and then I did it.
It's singularly different. I mean, I've tried different drugs and things. I've certainly not tried heroin, but because nobody's offered me it. But I mean it. I mean, it's like the hungriest you've ever been when somebody gives you something to eat. It's like the thirstiest you've ever been when somebody gives you something to drink.
You're just elated.
And they come down afterwards, after doing a good-sized room, you can't get any sleep. It's like somebody's gives you some adrenaline, and you're desperate for somebody to talk to talk down.
Oh, that's true.
A good show, and
That's why green rooms are so important for comics. Like if you're just like after you come off stage, you need to come down in the same room because
I was doing Glasgow University with Morty one year, and Morty gave me the gig. It was £180, which ironically I was working at Glasgow University at the time. Anyway, I got out on the stage and somebody launched a Nuki Brown bottle at me for the bag in the reading room. Students of all, and I see it coming and I cannot get out the fucking way.
It's a big bottle.
The only things I'm trying to juggle is the material and the fucking onset of this flight line. And I can't get out the road here for somebody. Anyway, it scuds me right here and gives me a fucking big mark like that. And I come over and Morty says to me, "Oh, did they not like you?"
What gave it away?
And he gave me the money in an envelope, and I went like, "I've still got an envelope." And I went like that, and there was blood on it.
Aye.
And I've still got my receipt from the comedy, from
How
Blackfriars.
did that not put you off? That's terrifying.
And the £180 or something.
It's often I'll take a bottle to the heat for 108 quid. Yeah.
We've all got a price.
I've got my receipt for the first Blackfriars, a tenner.
Aye.
I've got my receipt for that.
The first tenner the Stand ever paid me for my first ever paid gig. I've got framed at home.
Yeah.
still.
Have you really?
Absolutely.
This one's been approached a couple of times based on the fact that she's Gabby or you're a Gab shite.
Have you not done any stand-up?
No.
Are you
Any
thinking of doing it?
temptation?
You want to?
Well, every day I feel I feel like I should just do it.
There's
now
a
because
push for you to do
everybody's
it.
saying it, like, and I've noticed. Ford found me in social media. I was living in Italy at the time, teaching English, and I was just making videos, and people found me really, really funny.
That's good.
And then it's no kind of left. I've still kind of kept it up, and now I've started the podcast. But people are pushing that. We would pay to see you, and like you, I'm like, what should I do? Should I just go in and impersonate people? Should I add a bit of singing and movement?
Who's your favourite person to make laugh?
Who makes me laugh?
No.
That's
That's a good question.
No, I can't say this. I sound mentally ill. I really love making myself laugh.
Oh, that's the best.
It's a very honest answer.
It is. It's very honest. I can have a rare Ted in the house.
Get the cock shot. Something like that. I'm going to push myself.
No, but I make you laugh, and
Do you?
I honestly.
But it's funny, isn't it? If you've got a pal that I've got a pal who's like the best little audience, and like it's so irresistible. Once he starts absolutely guffawing,
catnip to you?
What's that? Yeah, I just can't stop doing it. And then everything gets funnier and funnier. The two of us are in his and I keep on saying, "Oh, he makes me laugh." And I was thinking, I think it's me that's making him laugh, but I'm addicted to it.
If I do anything in my house, right, my daughter will go,
So,
and my wife will go, well, whatever you think yourself. I've never had a big number in the house. Never.
My wife's going through it now, which is like, because we've got 2 kids now, and sometimes I'll say a joke which is objectively fucking funny. Now, it might not be appropriate to say in front of the kids, but it's like, it is funny. And she'll look at me as if I'm not funny. I pretend as if that's not what got her here in the first place. My wife being like, "You're not funny." I'm like, "I think you'll fucking find it." There's no way I could get a woman of your caliber without my sense of humour.
without being funny.
Yeah,
I've said that to my wife. Look at the fucking baton I'm doing. This isn't I'm not funny in here.
God, my wife's the same.
I'm not fucking bastard. Hilarious.
My wife's the same, honestly. I'm batting out my league.
No, but for the uglies amongst us, of which I've counted myself one, comedy's a great way to make and get into a relationship.
But I think it's because it's not that you're funny. It's like one thing that's attractive to everyone is somebody that's just sure of themselves. Confidence is. And it doesn't matter if you're a girl, boy, you're
But
attracted
you
to
did
one of
meet
those.
your wife for her being in the audience, didn't you?
Yeah, I walked out on stage and my wife was in the front row and she was
So tell us about that then.
smoking hot. Well, I recognised her straight
Right.
away because she's my ex-girlfriend's younger sister. So
Daniel.
yeah.
We're going to do another half an hour.
Well, you thought you were here tonight to talk. We've actually invited her in.
She's here now.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Look, it was a long time ago. My ex-girlfriend is a wonderful aunt to our children. She's,
Oh, that's lovely.
No, but I mean, there were some road bumps at the start, but yeah.
Well, like telling her how better or worse she was.
Tell me this. I'm curious to ask you this, Daniel. if somebody saw me in the audience and they were flirting with me after the show, I wouldn't know if they really fancied me or the comedian. So I get a wee bit. I'm a wee bit cold. I'm a wee bit like, I don't really know.
About the Bentley.
Yeah.
I'll get, young women. No, do you know what I get?
It would need to be in real life, I think.
Well, what I get is you get a woman that looks like this one here come up and go, oh my God, I can't believe it's Ford Kiernan. And I go, that's fine. She went, my mother loves you.
Oh, I get that all the time. My gran loves you. I get my gran thinks you're funny.
And that's a kick in the nuts, that is. You know what I mean? But that's great. So you were almost like clinically getting towards the comedy, because if you're putting hours in, you're looking at strategies and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd watched it since the age of 5 and was obsessed with it. Like, before Netflix and everything, I would spend my pocket money on either it was during the fucking DVD boom during the early 2000s, or I would go on eBay and get like VHSs of like Eddie Izzard or Lee Evans or Billy Connolly, but like back when they came in the massive box sets, and that's what I would watch comedy on.
And were you really methodical? I mean, would you sit, because I've never sat and done this, would you sit and write down the structure of a joke and go, that joke was like that, and that's how you do it?
No.
Some people go to comedy classes, and I just think I'm a bit more instinctive, and I'd be a bit frightened to go to a comedy class. And I don't want to become too methodical about it. It's just instinct. It's like, try it. If it's funny, it's funny. But would you sit and go, that's that type of joke? Or would you?
No, but what I would do is, like, the ones that made me laugh the most, I would then go in with my friends, and there's no way to fucking share this, share the jokes that you liked with your friends. You couldn't send them a fucking TikTok or a reel. Or get them back to your house to watch the VHS. So you just had to. I was doing like Billy Connolly jokes and Ed Byrne jokes to my mates, like being like, "This is
just crucifixion at school."
Yeah. So you're just doing those bits in the playground, and you're giving fucking. You're not saying this is my stuff, but kids are loving it because their parents don't let them see stand up. But my parents are fucking sound.
I mean, this was the original TikTok share.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, and obviously the buzz of getting your friends to laugh is, being funny in school, especially in Scotland, lets you get away with. Like, it's a secret currency. Like, I actually think this is one of the only countries in the world where being funny in school is actually more important than being good at sports. Like, jock culture is not as big over here because it doesn't matter how fucking big you are. If some small cunt can call you every name under the sun and get under your skin, then you're...
I know. I've never actually found I was stand-up about 10 years all in, at a time prior to phones and TikTok and all the rest of it. And it was taxi drivers. That's where we were getting it. The likes of Greg and I, when we started working on radio, the absolutely only feedback you could get was taxi drivers. It was even the pub. So you get in, we would order a taxi when we only lived around the corner. To see if the guy had heard the show that we'd just put out. So we got in there and the guy, oh, fuck that, tune of on the radio, it's unbelievable. Have you heard it? We're like, aye.
That's
I love it.
You didn't even recognise it?
No.
It wasn't the radio.
It wasn't the radio? All right, okay.
He went to recognise us. He went, I don't know, this fella off.
Are you sitting in the back with a voice changer?
I'm sitting in the back, it's the top of that bad road. But Greg and I would be avid to do that. Do you know how when you do the Edinburgh Festival, I don't even know if you guys are, well, you might be, but old enough to, you've done your show for a couple of nights at the Edinburgh Festival, and you're running like a maddie down the Cowgate to go and look at that scabby wall to see if anybody's put a review up.
All right,
you can make any use of. Because there's nobody talking about nothing.
Yeah, and those days.
So I'm not saying it was more difficult, but as we were saying to Susan McKay earlier on, it seems a lot more even-handed now that even women in comedy, there seems to be plenty of them and plenty of men. There seems to be a good balance.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And I think that's the difference for not having the phone and the internet and socials, because people weren't getting the opportunity to see as many women then.
Yeah, 100%. That's why representation is so very important. Like, if you see, the reason I knew stand-up comedy was a viable option for me and a dream of mine is because from the age of 5, I saw straight white men on television telling fucking jokes, and I was like, oh, that's something I can do. So there was never any doubt in my mind when I started that it was, a job capable for me. And I think obviously now, especially up here in the UK, we do get more women and gay people in comedy and people of colour, that that's what inspires the next generation to get. I think it's a crucial thing.
It's funny because years ago, me and my sister used to laugh at it. There was a Cadbury's advert. It was a Cadbury's, if you like a lot of chocolate in your biscuit, join our club, that thing. And it was a man, kind of, a country cowboy dancing. And at the end, he falls through the front of his house, through the floor. And me and my sister, we had a VCR because it had been, my mother bought it stolen in the pub that she worked in. And it was a Scotch 1305. It would only play half an hour tapes. We had 2 Elvises and a couple of Laurel and Hardys. But you could tape things like Coronation Street and that. And that was okay. But we decided to tape this advert to see what was killing me and my sister. Now, at that time, I'm 12, my sister would be 8, something like that. And we could not figure out what was funny about that. So we freeze framed, and in those days you had to put the 2 keys down to freeze frame it, and it's going like that, the picture. And what it was, without having learned about it, when the guy fell out of frame, he kept his mouth open.
Oh, that's what was so funny.
And
that's
his mouth was right through the frame and through the bottom of the frame. And we singled it out as that being the moment. Now, for a few times afterwards, when it became my opportunity to work in television, I tried the open mouth scenario, and it fucking works. Leave the frame with the mistake on your face, and it somehow what is the fucking
really interesting
mechanics
detail
behind that? Following that wee black hole of a mouth off the screen, and it works for people.
Sorry, I'm shut up.
You had me. I tried the open mouth scenario.
You are in essence a filthy fucker, aren't you?
I think you've met
I just love a cheeky line.
I know.
Put the lines out.
Every year I get excited to find it, because every year your Fringe show title becomes more and more ludicrous, and I get excited about the times that you come up to me like, here's the list of 7.
Oh yeah, because I've got a wee list.
But you're going to get eventually to just stuff it up my shiter, aren't you? Because you're not going to be able to keep them coming.
But that's the thing. That is the thing. I've always avoided it going too far. I mean, that's quite funny.
But you would say you need too far right now.
What's this year's one called?
Was the one I've wanted to use for a couple of years, and we have the same agent, and she just kept on saying to me, "No, that's too much." And I said, "What is?" So it's called "You're Not Even Safe Up the Back." And she was like, "That's too much," and I was going, "It's just up the back. It's not that bad." And plus, it's true, because I've become known for people kind of knowing that I'm absolutely going to find you in the audience, because I love. For me, that's the kind of comedy that makes the whole thing interesting for me after all these years.
Before crowd work comedy was big on fucking
and actually it took me a long time to do. It's funny because now people would say that's what I mainly do, is kind of improvised crowd work, which I love because moments happen that are hysterical.
I think you're brilliant at it. That's the difference with people that do try it that aren't any good at it. For instance, the master of it is Car, isn't it? Is it
Jimmy?
No, fucking the other one. Jimmy. I was watching that the other night, one of his latest shows, and what are you laughing at, you bastard? And I'm watching and I'm thinking, that bastard's only doing half a show. Everybody asks him a question and he repeats it back to them. Right, so I counted up, I roughly counted up my heats. There was about 25 minutes out of an hour. But he wasn't actually talking about fuck all. He's simply repeating things that people had said back to him.
To be fair, he's a one-liner comic as well. That's my nightmare of a comic to be.
Oh, really?
Like, the amount of fucking, oh my God, man, that's autism. That's fucking...
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the hottest autistic people.
There's nothing else that is.
And what's interesting about those moments is if you're so you first of all you have to be brave enough to open it up and just go, good title. But you have to be brave enough to open up, not be afraid of trying this. But in your head, you've got material if that doesn't go anywhere anyway. So don't be afraid of that. So you try that, and then if you have the balls to do it, you'll sometimes discover there's a funnier person than you are who copes with that pressure well. And that's what I discovered. I was terrified of it, and I never did it until I was in Oban, and I was doing this gig, and they said to me, I did comedy for 7 years before I improvised, and then somebody said to me, what time's your interval? And I was like, there's no interval, it's about an hour and 15. They were like, oh no, it's Oban, need an interval for the drinks. And I was like, oh. And I remember thinking, I could do that thing I've always wanted to do, but I ask the audience stuff and see if I can think of things. And I was going, I might try that. I said, okay, let's do the interval. And when I did that gig, that was the best gig I'd done in the whole 7 years I'd done comedy. And I phoned my agent and said, put an interval in every one of my gigs from now on. It'll make me learn how to do that. And now I get really excited about going on stage because I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what you're going to give me. So, like, you know, people think I make things up. But when I was in Aberdeen and go on stage and I say to the guy, "What's your name?" and he says, "Ewan." And I said, "Christ, in my world, that's a question." And then now that I've said that,
you can keep
if anyone's ever called Ewan again, that comes up and you go, "Oh, what a genius." And you're like, "Well, it happens once," and then you just repeat it. But sometimes it turns into material as well. So I'm glad that I decided to do that because it's become more what I'm known for, I think.
In fact, when I was doing an hour back in the fucking dinosaur days, I could get 20 minutes new material every hour that I went out. So in effect, like in 3 weeks, you would have been using none of the stuff that you used before, and you were away. And
do you mean by, this is interesting because I'm always interested when somebody said I can get a new 20 minutes. Do you mean by they would make you tell a story you hadn't planned to tell, or because of your reactions to what they said?
You would tell a story and purposely cut it the way you wanted it cut, not having practiced the rest of it. Thought about other situations, but you've told it out, you've got your laugh, and you're thinking, I'm not going to be too cheeky and try and get any more juice out of this. But being cheeky and tried to get almost repaint the gag for them. You know, can you imagine a guy standing and they're still with me? Even though they've heard the gag, and I'm walking through it and showing them the bit. So it was like that. Or you would find another wee stream of something that was only a sub-idea that you'd never even committed to paper, and then suddenly finding, like, a week or two later, you'd amassed half an hour of solid material that you could draw. I know, you're reading the books and everything. Conley found a stack of material when he was out there as well, because suddenly you tap into gold and you go, Chris, I've got 60 people in here, and if I get them, I'll get the whole 800. Because they 60 will drive it. That's what puts, you know yourself with hecklers and stuff, that's what puts my mind at rest about heckling, is because the 4 people sitting around about them hate them more than you do.
100%.
You know?
100%. Like, for me, the best heckle retort is to just fucking give them the attention that they want, which is like, if they shout out, don't say anything funny, right? Just go, what? And then they'll repeat themselves, and it's silence. And you're very much being like, anytime I talk, there's a laugh, and anytime you talk, there's nothing. Let's see what we can learn from that fucking lesson there.
You just leave them with their own cockiness.
Man, I'm like a fucking teacher. I'm like, what did you say? Why don't you repeat yourself in front of what was that for everyone?
Because what you thought was fucking hilarious 30 seconds ago.
Say it again. And then sometimes somebody does say something that is genuinely funny, and I do have to be like, fair enough. Like,
you would be, I'm guessing, intimidating to an audience in vis-a-vis heckling. I mean, they're not likely to give you a heckle. You've got a composure about you.
There's a fear of people going to your shows being like, I don't want to say it.
I'm not going to come out and do that.
They don't really heckle me. Yeah, they don't really heckle me very. I quite like it when they do, because it takes a certain kind of ballsy person to do. So I know what I like. It's not nasty. I know they get the game. They go, I'm going to say something. And I think, oh, look at you, you ballsy wee shine. And I kind of admire them for having the balls to do it. And then what I like is it's very clear this is a game and it doesn't turn nasty. So heckling, I quite like heckling. I would encourage people to heckle sometimes. Not if you were telling a long story. I can't imagine you get heckled very often.
No.
Because you're usually telling...
My fans are losers, man. They're too far. Bunch of sad wee fucking neurodivergent introverts.
Where are you playing next to you? Saying what you're selling?
Castle community.
I said to a guy once, somebody said something to me, and he was plainly sitting with his wife or his girlfriend. And I went, see if that had come out funny, you'd have been getting your whole night. As is.
Here we are.
Looked at her, and you could see with the look in her face, she was mortified that he'd piped up in the first place. Because when you go out with somebody, you don't think, oh, John's a scream, he'll heckle and that'll be the end of it. You just don't. You go... That's the other thing. I was just speaking to Susie earlier on about it. See, once people know you, it's hard to go and sit in a wee room and watch comedians because they're immediately put off by the fact that you're there. You know, I get that. That is the one thing I rue about having got involved in the first place.
Man, Jimmy Carr is the opposite from you. Jimmy Carr goes to comedy, loves comedy.
Still.
Man, so there's a famous story of, like, he went to see Nick Helm back in like 2012 during the Fringe. And look, if Jimmy Carr laughs at one of your jokes,
oh, you'd know,
everyone in the audience know that Jimmy Carr's in the fucking crowd because he's got that big dumb laugh. So like Nick Helm's on stage, right, he's doing great. Jimmy's laughing. Nobody's laughing at Nick anymore. They're just looking around like, oh my God, that's Jimmy Carr. And Nick Helm goes, fucking hell, Jimmy, I don't come to your shows and laugh.
Oh, that's a great comeback.
Aye. So
he seems to be the master at the minute, and it's the what do you call the guy, the American guy, Bill Burr.
aye,
I just kind of got enough of that
He's
delivery.
so good.
You know, and it's just pitched right when he loses it. You know, you see some comedians that just scream at you for the whole time.
Aye.
Especially the Americans. There's a couple of them big fat deed ones.
Patrice O'Neill.
Eh?
Patrice O'Neill?
Aye, but they're screaming. They just.
Oh no, Patrice was more subtle than that. Patrice was
No,
fucking.
but who am I talking about? Blonde hair and that. They normally die with cocaine.
Oh fucking yes, from SNL. Oh Greg, yeah. Sam.
Kincaid or whatever it is, but they come out, and he's like, "What's that happened to that?" And you're like, "Oh fuck me."
Sam Kinison.
That's you're like, "This is going to be an hour and a half."
It's too
of a
frenetic.
I mean, it's tough. So I fucked up because what I normally do is I have a plug out of sink.
And
We've never found it, did we?
No.
And you get to pull the plug of what you really want to plug.
Aye.
Well, you'd hear it. It was like,
That's quite funny.
it's a
pull the
phenomenal
plug.
TV idea.
I think it's in the boot at the top.
You can use one of my butt plugs. Oh, so I'll just,
We'll just pull your plug.
It's no pull the butt plug or anything like that.
Yeah, no touching,
That's a
right?
big touch. But tell me what
yous are both up to?
First of all, is it the circuit that's made you pals?
I signed with our agent when I was 17 years old, and you've been with her.
And Daniel was going to Australia. What age were you when you went there?
I was 20 the first time I
And we were
went.
doing Sydney Comedy Festival,
Sydney
and
Comedy.
she asked me to look after him, and I very quickly worked out he could look after himself until I saw what he was wearing, and then I said, "Oh, we need to go shopping."
Yeah.
And Daniel was wearing, well, I mean, they weren't really trunks; they were like shorts.
No, they were swim trunks. I was wearing,
But
it was
they
a
were
hot
swimming
day, so I
trunks,
was
and
wearing swim trunks.
the
just in
gay
case.
in me was horrified. I was like, "Oh, you can't pass that off as day wear."
Get him off immediately.
So we went shopping. We went shopping, and Daniel put some nice clothes on, and but no, it was mainly because we had the same agent,
Yeah.
and we were at the same comedy festival at the same time.
Yeah.
But I realised very quickly I didn't,
I was-
Daniel wasn't naive. I didn't have to look after him.
Yeah, I was
you want the keen on him.
I was like, he would do his own thing, eh?
I was losing my mind. Well, to get paid to do this job anyway is fucking mental.
right.
But like the first time I was ever like flown somewhere to do it, I was like, oh my god, this is the tits.
We were just talking in the car over here about, I was saying to Daniel about all the gigs we'd done, and there was a couple of weird ones, wasn't there? That one in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
We were doing this gig, and that guy said, "Is it okay if I rap to get yous on? I'll rap yous on." And I was like,
We just really. There's like 30 people in the crowd as well. Like it's spread out.
painful. And he's just like, "I can't believe this guy has come. You should see the state of his mum," or something. I don't know. It was just
One of the things he said was, his introduction to me,
still
I'll
remember
never
that.
forget it, was, this wasn't a joke. This was him 100% sincerely being like, this is a great way to bring on a new comic. He went, he's young, hung and full of cum.
Please welcome Daniel
A
Sloss.
Monday in Singapore.
And I
I don't
literally,
remember scribbling that down.
and I was backstage literally going, did he just say young, hung and full of cum? You can't introduce somebody like that. And
No,
he did.
it's credits. It's like, oh, you
But
might have seen this.
the rap was what killed me. I just thought, what is he doing? And then there was another gig. We were talking about this other gig. There was a gig we did because sometimes if they found out you were doing Australia, anyone in between, like in Kuala Lumpur, or in this
Bali.
case it was Bali, and this guy said, "Would you and Daniel come and do this?" And I was like, "What? How did we end up here in our life?" And we were at the rooftop of a hotel. Facing facing into the sun. The sun was
It was a
facing us
sunset lounge.
onto the sea.
So you get to watch the most beautiful
Outdoor
sunset
gig.
of your life, and they're like, we'll put a comedy show on there.
You must have a huge expat following then.
Oh.
Because I'm thinking how
Yeah,
people-
that's how those gigs exist. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've never
What's
been
that?
Have you played in Greece?
I have.
I don't think.
I've
No,
got-
I have. I did a gig in Thessaloniki. I remember going on stage because they call it Saloniki, and I walked on stage with Saloniki, you're so fine, I'm Saloniki, Saloniki. And I remember doing this gig for the British Council, and they didn't tell me I was the only person using the spoken word. And so there was somebody doing 45 minutes of artistic theatre before me, which was all silent. And then Gamarjiba, do you remember them?
Oh, yeah, the
comedians?
Japanese fucking mimes.
And they did this mime that was hysterical with suitcases that would open and stuff. And I was like, and then they said, "And now welcome Creek Hill doing the spoken word." And I was like, "The what?" And it's funny because you won't even believe this is true, but we were backstage, and I still come on to Madonna singing "Hung Up Every Little Thing That You Say," and I would be bored backstage, and they give us a giant cake. And I said to the Japanese guys, to Kamarjiba, "How would you sing Madonna's Hung Up in Japanese. I still remember it to this day. Anapaga istari soro subi tenochosana koto gikan watsugiru njoyokuri. I'm sure that's not correct, but that stuck in my head for years.
On fucking TikTok now, won't we? He's just pumped the music away.
Funny story about Greece.
That story, that wasn't stand-up comedy though. Let's just say it could have turned into love, but it didn't. I was on a boat leaving. I'd never been abroad before. I'd never been abroad before. I was in Mykonos with my friends, and I went with my hairdresser and sisters and 20 quid in my pocket because I just thought because I didn't know if they were definitely there, and I thought I'll cut hair on the beach like a pure wee wido Glaswegian. Luckily they were there because anyway. So on the way back, I was sitting there was a guy that I'd spotted a couple of days before who was eyeing me up in this disco. And we were sitting on the boat. There was a 7-hour journey to go to Athens from Mykonos Island. We're on the ferry and I'm waving to my pals, and suddenly I spotted the French guy. I mean, does he no grab a bottle of Coke? And he does the most filthy. It was 7 hours of and I was like, you don't need to keep on doing that. He did it for ages. We never spoke. He just kept on mouthing the bottle.
Okay.
As if to go, you know I like you. Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Is that 2 litre? Let's go half it in.
I thought, Christ, if you can take that. So, anyway, and it said, I was quite a naive traveller. It said my wee Lonely Planet guide, accommodation in Athens could be quite expensive. Go up to somebody and ask them if they want to share. So I went up to him before we got to Athens and said, excuse me, it says in my guidebook that I should just ask someone if they want to share a hotel. And I went, do you want to share a hotel to try and save money? And he was like, is this the only... He was French. He was like, is this the only reason we are doing this? And I went, maybe. So anyway, so we went to this hotel. I'm trying to not make this too long, but here you go. I'm chatty. So we went to this hotel and we walked in and the guy says, you have to show your passport. And the guy's... He's from France, and he says to me, where are you from? And I said, Scotland, United Kingdom. And he went, Princess Diana. I thought it was the funniest reaction. Just 2 words, sad face. And
well, then, the French did it.
Yeah, and then and then this guy, the French guy, says to me, I said, are there any gay bars in Athens? I've never been to Athens. It'd be quite fun to go.
It's the birthplace of homosexuality.
He said,
the flag.
And he said in a broadcast, no, but there's a couple of snatchers. So he says, I said, are there any gay bars in Athens? And he said, oh, wow. He said, there are 2 bars. One bar is called Alessandro, and the other bar is called Alexander's. He said, but I cannot go to Alexander's. And I said, why can't we go to Alexander's? And he said, because I was there 2 weeks ago and they threw me out. And I said, why did they throw you out? Because I put fruit in my bottom. And I said, I can't believe I'm going to ask you this, but why did you do that?
I would have asked what fruit.
Well, I did actually. I was curious. He said it's either a banana or a berry, and I went, I don't think it was a berry.
You can tell it.
Anyway, so I said, why did you do that? And he said, because the owner came up with a tray and he offered me fruit, and I said, right, okay, that's not the answer I was expecting. And he said, but there was a guy there who wanted me to do this. He was kinky. And I was in the toilets. And I went, okay, right, okay, we won't go to Alexander's then. So we go to Alessandro. We walk in. The owner comes up with a tray of fruit because he got the wrong place. And the owner says, oh my God, not you again. And he says, oh my God, not you again. And in a convincing Greek accent, I can't do it. He said, not you again. Tonight, no fruit in ass. And I thought, well, there's a sentence I never thought I'd hear in my whole life.
Make cocktails that with the
I nearly died. I mean, it was so funny.
Princess Diana. Greg and I and Paul, after doing the Edinburgh Festival, we still game when it was originally a play at the festival.
Do you mind me to tell you a story about that? Go on.
Right, so just afterwards, Karen Corrin said, do you want to do the Toronto Festival? They've got one for 3 weeks. And oh, yeah. So that thing about flying on somebody else's book. So we get there and all that. And I'm just trying to think, we got into a taxi and there was a foreign guy that driving the taxi. I went through this tunnel. And I went, fuck me, this is a cunt that killed Lady Diana. And he stopped being foreign immediately. Right? And we were like, I'm fucking, come eat fucking Tommy's, fucking Toronto, fucking blah, 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 blah. And he went on and on and on about it. What offence he took.
Oh, my
And all I'd said, and they two sat like that, just let me take the fucking lot here. And we sat like that for about 20 minutes till we got to where we were going. I don't know, have you done Toronto Festival?
No, I did Montreal. Do you mean Montreal? No, because I did Montreal Comedy Festival, which is really, have you done that?
JFL.
It's really
I
strange.
actually saw you doing that on
But do you know what's really
TV.
strange about that week, right? So you do 7 nights each week. You do each night you do seven nights, 7 shows, and each night they tell you what they don't want in on the Friday night, and it could be a word or a phrase, and they edit and edit and edit, and by the time you get to the Friday, your brain is scrambled because you're going, oh, what did they say? I can't use that. And it throws the flow of what you're doing because it's edited so carefully for
Starting their fucking
TV.
berries up your arsehole.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, my story connected to, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to work in Gilda Balloon, in box office at the Gilda Balloon years ago.
Oh, aye.
And you were doing Still Game as a play.
Yep.
And I had just started, and when you read the computer, there are 2, I didn't know this, there are 2 pieces of information about sales from the venue and from the Fringe. So there were Gilda Balloon sales and Fringe sales.
Okay.
So the Gilda Balloon sales said, sold out. So people were coming up to me going, we had 2 tickets for Still Game. And I was like, oh no, it's sold out. I'm really sorry. And they coming out with sold out. It's really sorry. Sold out. It's really sorry. And then someone said to me, are you telling people there's Still Game sold out? It says on the computer. And I went, look at the other computer. And then apparently you came looking for this week. Who's this week gay guy?
I've never done that.
You did.
I
Apparently,
had a banana and a fucking aubergine in my hand.
but I thought it was really funny because I mean you would probably want to find the person who was doing that.
Some gun telling everyone that you're sold out when you got 100,
Exactly, I'm not-
100 seats.
I'm not surprised you came looking for me, but I thought one day I shall tell Ford Kiernan that was me.
Right, well, some have done.
Some are doing. You've obviously calmed down.
Do you know Ed Byrne, the Irish fella?
Aye.
He came every day to see Still Game
Did he?
with his family. You know, whoever was up there to see him, he would come and watch and they'd be right there in front row.
Do you know that? It's really funny you said that. I wonder whether there was more of a culture of that because we used to. Geraldine McNulty did this show called 10 Women in a One Frock Show.
Right.
And I remember I went to see that 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And maybe in those days, if you loved a show, you thought, oh God, my friends would love this. And you'd go back again.
Yeah.
And I remember her show sold, literally, genuinely sold out.
That's the thing with you.
Well, no, there was, because punters were coming up to me at 4:30 and I worked in box office and they were like, have you seen it? And I was, oh my God, go and see it. It's on 15 minutes. It's called One Woman in a One Frock Show. If you don't laugh at this, I promise you, I will give you your money back. I will take
I'll
it
give you
out
2
of my
tickets to
pocket.
Still Game. It's not sold out.
There was a lassie there that kept coming into her show and she was gorgeous and they're married and everything, but she says, I'm in a show across the road. And I went, oh, what's that about? And she said, it's in that wee room. And she said, we're not doing very well. It's about 2 shoplifters who go to Magaluf. And I went, I'll come over. And I says, when time's your show? And 2 o'clock. I went, fine. So I go across and I sit myself down and I wouldn't even make any of this up. The lassie that I thought was quite good looking come out with a suit on, a pale blue suit, and she's supposed to be kind of in charge of the aeroplane and all that. So I'm playing multi-parts. And then the other lassie's playing a Spanish waiter. So anyway, it's fucking tedious, dragging on, no jokes and fuck all, until they get to the last bit. And one of them's done it was a Spanish waiter with a painted moustache on, because she'll obviously be able to wipe it over. And the other one, who's got the pale blue on, started laughing for no reason other than boredom. You know, they know there was 7 people in. And she started to wet herself.
Who? The person on stage?
And it was pale blue, the suit, and it was like it started in a wee circle.
I guess this wasn't a part of the show.
No, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was like, that became, I mean, they were only about 8 years in. And then to finish the show, she had to kiss the waiter. And the fucking thing came right after, the whole black pin. So there she was starting taking bows with a transfer of black moustache and a whole pile of map of China push on her true. And I went, that's a fucking festival.
That is absolutely.
You were like, keep that in.
I keep that's fucking best idea. You know what I mean? But it's funny because you do, when you're at the festival, you nick out and you see some crashers.
Well, we say that all the time. It's like you've not done the Fringe properly until you've taken like a random flyer off the street.
No, we said, when we didn't do this, but I kept on suggesting to you that one day we would meet during the Fringe, walk down, I said, Daniel, let's just meet 11 o'clock. The first person that gives us the flyer we'll just go to that show. Because it'll be an interesting story at the very least.
And also, like, you forget just how, I think there's a really sad statistic, like a quarter of Fringe shows a day are pulled because there's just no tickets sold to it. Like, you know, we're very lucky to be on the successful side of it. I do fancy just, you know, that's what the Fringe is. It's going and taking a gamble, and even if it's shite, that's a much funnier story.
You always get some fucking smart ass, you know, some funny concert story about hunting out flyers. It's just bits of blank A4. There's no show, you can't go. You know, that kind of thing. And you're thinking, they actually don't have a show.
You just reminded me of the girl who came up and flyered me for my show.
Did she?
I was wearing a hat.
Right, oh well.
So, totally in disguise.
And the Serrano.
And she was, it was so funny, she was quite half-arsed about it. She had 3 flyers. I think it was me, you and Jamon. And she was like, comedy, like with that face, comedy.
How's your comedy?
And then I didn't notice what it was. And I said, what is it? And then I realised it was us. And then she said, I don't know, it's 3 comedians. And then I kind of saw it and started laughing. I said to her, who is it? And then she said, I don't know, Daniel Sloss, Jamon. And then and she went, and Craig Howe. And I said,
you're Piner.
I said, what's he like? And she went, apparently he's poofy as fuck. Anyway, eventually I had to tell her to put her out of her misery, but I just thought it was quite funny that she was mortified.
We were running comedy clubs here in Glasgow. It was good. You would do, me and John Paul. Do you know what John Paul Leach?
No, I don't.
He was my double act partner. He's a neurologist. They're often our doctors. A lot of doctors are into comedy when they leave the uni. You know, when they're
aye. Because you got to have like a smart brain that's.
Yeah, you got to be fiercely intelligent, haven't you?
Well, I worked in Glasgow University and I ran the 5 bars there when I was a youngster. I was 21, and the medics were by far and away the worst behaved.
Still are.
And what they would do, very funny, at the end of the night would be they would all go and have a shite in a pint tumbler and top it up with piss and then put it on top of the fruit machine so that we had to clear that up when they left. And some of the antics they used to get up there, and my first joke, actually, I told at Glasgow University was, which was true. One of them said, I can take the inside of a big biro pen and shove it up my Jap's eye and write my name in a beer mat. And somebody else went, go then. So he got the inside of a big biro pen and he put it up, and I stood and watched him, so did another 100 people as he wrote his name on a beer mat. And I thought to myself, is it any wonder you can't read a fucking prescription? These guys are coming out to be doctors. Honest to God. And that's kind of nonsense they used to get up. So it didn't surprise me and John when we were out that you would bump into doctors or people who were... in fact, somebody that was doing stand-up a few years ago was doing my gut operation in London. He went, wake up, it's me. And I went, no, he said, I used to drive for you during the festival. Oh, fuck, I'm looking at me. Right.
Was that pulling out bananas?
You know? But, so we've completely fucked through that. Plug us something.
Yes.
What do you want?
What's happening?
What do you want us to know about?
I'm doing, I don't know when my Glasgow show is, but I'm doing the Glasgow Comedy Festival. So
right, so that's running right through.
You don't know when it's on?
Nah, no idea.
Come on, Daniel.
My wife is my personal assistant. She tells me I've never been good with dates. So she's like, this is when you're here, this is when you're here. So she'd have brought her on, she'd know. But Glasgow Comedy Festival, it's like the end of March.
Well, I mean,
so let's guess the 29th.
You've fucking ruined that.
You have actually ruined it. I mean, obviously I'm a homosexual and I'm very well organised. So 13th and 14th of March. Thank you, Friday, Saturday.
Google, they'll work
13th, 14th of March. And actually, I think our Edinburgh Fringe shows are on sale as well. We might as well plug that.
Yep.
Yes, of course. Already, is that
I can't believe
already?
that. Yeah, it was quite early, I think, but why not?
And where would you play it there?
Are you playing?
I'm only doing I'm doing 2 at the Playhouse.
I play this lovely venue. It's called Just the Tonic, but it's actually a converted church. I always say the church has been deconsecrated, and as have I. Yes. And it's a beautiful, beautiful church. It's a beautiful space, and every year it's got better. Right. So there's me and Conor Burns and Jamon are all playing that venue. It's a beautiful venue. I love performing there. What's that?
Same stuff, Jamon.
But once you get it's nice to get used to a venue. You're much more relaxed about going back.
Lives.
What's that?
You both done late.
I always avoided late in life because it became a little bit towards the end of a bear pit, which was nothing to do with comedy anymore. It was just about absolutely assassinating the comedian.
I used to wander through them and go, where's that wee fucking gay cunt out the office that's telling everybody else?
Shut up, sold out.
That's why I never went.
Everybody's drunk. I know the big turns are there. I've seen massive names and they're all...
I know. Well, but the audience were almost too drunk to actually listen to the comedy.
Appreciate it,
But, so it had to be ballsy comedy. I actually probably would have done all right if I did it. Because if you just mess with them, they would love that. That's the kind of thing they want. Isn't it?
I think I did it once when I was 18, got through by the skin of my fucking teeth, and was like, that's
No for you. Yeah.
nah. I wish
It's been phenomenal having you guys in, and an honour because we've only an honour for you. I mean,
genuinely,
we've only had a handful
naturally.
of comedians in,
Yeah.
Martin and Susie and stuff like that. But we didn't want to overdo it with funny people because
See you
sometimes-
showing up.
Well, not apart from the fact that some people come in or would try and do some material.
Oh,
But
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
yeah.
could be relied on to speak and bring a handful of material. So
Or you just get people sitting and they don't say a thing.
Really?
Aye.
So, in a nutshell, Daniel Sloss, thanks very much. And Craig Hill, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.
Together we are.
you so much.
Daniel Craig.
It's Daniel Craig.
Hey there, buggerlugs, prick up your ears and eyes. Hey there, buggerlugs, you got a big surprise. It ain't no podcast, what it is you just don't know. We're just saying, you're welcome to the Ford and Shelby Show. The Ford and Shelby Show. That is, the Ford and Shelby Show.